A fertile, creative, expansive, and lucky new moon in Cancer, Wednesday, June 25th at 3:31 a.m. Pacific time. Adjust for your time zone accordingly. Hello, my name is Eliane Nicole. I'm your astrologer and tarot reader, and in this video, I'm going to talk about the new moon of Cancer, June 25th, and the story it tells about the entire lunar cycle, taking us all the way to July 24th. And I'm going to talk about all of the aspects that tell that story. But first, I want to say, if you are watching this on Instagram, I'm just going to post the first 3 minutes here. The entire video will be available on my YouTube channel, Eliane Nicole. My YouTube channel is my name, Eliane Nicole. Please find me there. There will be a link in the profile bio of my Instagram to get there. There's also a link in the profile bio of my Instagram to book a reading with me. If you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Please hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. Please like, please comment, please share. Helps me in the algorithm and to grow my channel and my community. Puts me in a position to continue to give these free astrological offerings. If you're watching on Instagram, please make sure that you're following astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole. Please like, please comment, please share. Free for you, very helpful to me. And now without further ado, I'm going to talk about the new moon of Cancer. And this is a very auspicious, fortunate new moon of Cancer. It's at 4 degrees Cancer, and it's conjunct Jupiter, who has just moved into Cancer June 9th. And Jupiter is who the ancients called the Great Benefic. The planet Jupiter signifies good fortune, abundance, prosperity, luck, grace, mercy. Jupiter is associated with themes of morality and our belief systems, our philosophy, Jupiter being in Cancer, we're going to be applying these Jupiterian themes with Cancerian themes. So this is all around, family and home, motherhood, security, safety, our emotional needs, our emotional landscape. And so these are all really big themes of this new moon. And at all new moons are seed planting points. We are planting seeds of intention at new moons, whether we realize it or not. So we might as well, do it with some mindfulness and awareness and an understanding of the cosmic currents. Kind of lets you know where to focus your intention, like what areas of life are most supported by the current new moon. So you would look to the house Cancer rules in your chart, and you would tailor your attention and your focus. It's like the universe is giving you an invitation to bring a lot of intention and awareness to that sector of your chart right now and plant seeds. And again, we have a new moon every month, and there are always seed planting points, but the theme changes because, throughout the year, each new moon will hit a different house in our chart, and it goes around the wheel. So if we set intentions with each new moon on the themes of that moon sign and the house in our chart, within the year, we will have gone around the whole wheel of our life with intention and awareness and a sense of rhythm and timing and connection to, the divine order, which is what makes astrology so incredible and amazing. It's just like another spiritual tool in the arsenal of whatever your other spiritual practices are. But so I digress. Anyway, this new moon conjunct Jupiter, I think a lot of people will be planting seeds around, growing their family, pregnancy, conception, expanding the home. I think that this is, and this new moon, all new moons like have different cycles that they're planting seeds for. Like they're, there's the shorter term cycle, like the 2-week cycle to the full moon, which will be, I think the full moon will be July 10th in Capricorn. So there's the 2-week cycles, but then there's also the 6-month cycle until the Cancer full moon, where many intentions will bloom that are set now. There's the year-long cycle to the next Cancer new moon, and that cycle is actually really prominent with this new moon because Jupiter has just moved into Cancer, and Jupiter will be there for a whole year. So this new moon is really igniting Jupiter, even though Jupiter's been there since the 9th, because Jupiter has been in the square with Saturn and Neptune, which brings me to this new moon also being in the square with Saturn and Neptune. But first I want to say on the Jupiter theme that, we are planting seeds now of expansion and growth and welcoming in, abundance and prosperity and grace into this Cancer sector of our chart. It's going to be different for different people. If you're a Cancer rising, it will be in your first house, and it will be more around your own body, and for some people that might be, pregnancy. For other people that might be creativity in other ways or general wellness around your body. If it's in your on the second 8th house axis, the first 7th house axis, it can be relationships. The second 8th house axis, it can be around your finances, financial growth and prosperity. If it's on the 3rd, 12th axis, it can have to do with knowledge, maybe learning, higher education, travel, expanding your community in some way. If it's in your 4th house, it could be expanding your family or your home. If it's in your 5th house, it could be creativity or, again, children or pleasure in some way. If it's in your 6th house, maybe around your health. So the different houses all have different ways. If it's in your 10th house, it'll be around your career. Your 9th house, maybe your spiritual life or travel. All the houses will have a slightly different expression of this same energy that's coming through, of this kind of fertility and creativity and expansion and growth. And there's a lot of grace, compassion, good fortune. All of these things, there can also be a very heightened intuition at this time. It's a good time to follow your instincts. Cancer has very strong instincts. Cancer is one of the most intuitive signs next to Scorpio, and so all of those themes are very present in this new moon and for the month-long cycle, and in many ways for, the year-long cycle even. So it's a powerful new moon, and there's a lot of goodness here. There are so many blessings here, at this time. There are a lot of blessings available to us in this next year as Jupiter travels through Cancer, and you will feel it most personally if and when it interacts with your own personal planets. And so you always have to be following the degree of where Jupiter is and where it is with your planets, because as I always say, you have to recognize the blessing to receive it. And which brings me to that this new moon is also sextile Mars and Virgo. Sextiles are of the nature of Venus. They are harmonizing aspects. They are not as strong as trines. Sextiles present suggestions from the universe. They present opportunities from the universe, but you have to interact with it. You have to receive the suggestion. You have to interact with the opportunity. It's not going to just land in your lap. So this sextile to Mars in Virgo is nice because Mars in Virgo is bringing Earth. Earth gives us an opportunity to actually manifest things on the physical plane. We can take with the new moon, which is the sun conjunct the moon, so the sun and the moon, both sextiling Mars and Virgo, there is an opportunity for creativity. It's very fertile. There's an opportunity to grow things, to grow whatever you want, whether it's growing your hair, your garden, your family, your bank account, your money, your business, your home, your community. There's a real opportunity for growth here. And, but Mars in Virgo is asking us to have a daily ritual, to get organized, to streamline, to become more efficient, to hone in and fine tune our craft, to study, to, get our health in order, our body and our eating. And there's a lot here there about how we nourish ourselves. There is a real opportunity to fine tune, like our daily health regimen, our daily eating regimen, what we're putting into our bodies. And that's all present. Again, an opportunity to conceive. This is very, very fertile new moon for those who are trying to conceive. Jupiter in Cancer in general is a fertile transit, but there are certain points where there are certain aspects that are really fertile. This is one of them. And of course, you would always be wanting to look at where Jupiter is aspecting your personal planets. If you are someone who's trying to conceive at this time, it is very likely for people who are trying to conceive to be able to get pregnant at some point in this year-long transit of Jupiter through Cancer. And the sextile with Mars and the conjunction with Jupiter both make this a very fertile new moon. However, there is the square with Saturn and the square with Neptune. Saturn and Neptune are almost conjunct in Aries. They're dancing around with each other in the early degrees of Aries. This has a lot to do with the new world that is beginning and some of the difficulties and the challenges, the tests, the challenges, the obstacles that we are facing as this new life is emerging and we are letting go of a former life. And Saturn, the Saturn square, is definitely letting us know what our limitations are, what the boundaries are, where we need to commit, where we need to work harder. Saturn being in Aries, for some people, this will present as, challenges around authority figures. This can be authority figures that are people or even like institutions or systems that you're up against. And Saturn in Aries can just also be associated with the difficulties and challenges that come with any startup, that come with any time that we're starting anything new, and the commitment and the dedication and the work ethic that's required. So all of that is represented with Saturn in Aries. There may be, it can indicate frustration or anger that comes up due to certain limitations or boundaries, obstacles that are being presented. And there's so much to say about these archetypes. I just want to touch on them because I don't want to make the video too long, but I did a whole Saturn and Aries video, so you should go and watch it, because Saturn will be in Aries for 3 years and there's a lot there. And then there's also the square with Neptune in Aries that the sun and moon are making, and that can cause confusion, cloudiness, chaos. That can bring deception, fraud, illusion, delusion. It can bring up problems around addiction or fantasy. This is very creative energy. It can bring up, I think there's a lot here for artists to work with. Cancer is one of the most creative signs. Neptune is very much associated with the arts. So I think that the square with Neptune can be challenging in a real life, everyday perspective, but in terms of creating art, it's very, very rich. It's like the kinds of challenges that come up that you figure out, and it makes the art that much better, that much like higher, smarter, more interesting, more soulful. So that's on the creative front. And but that Neptune Aries conjunction on the collective level has so much to do with the war. And so, the sun representing the leadership and the moon representing the populace, and square to Saturn, Neptune conjunction, you see that the problems in this cycle are around war. They're around fighting and, warriors. And so that is the difficult part of what's going on. And so this moon packs both, and it packs both for the world and for our personal lives. This new moon is going to be very personal to people who have early degree cardinal signs, early degree earth signs, early degree fire signs. And this full moon is also trine the asteroid Vesta, the high priestess asteroid. And Vesta is one of the most misunderstood asteroids. I feel like I hear astrologers talk about her in slightly off ways. I feel like I know Vesta very well because she's in my first house. She's conjunct my Saturn, and I'm very in touch with Vesta. I have such a strong Vesta energy. And Vesta has to do with the community hearth. Vesta has to do with the altar, our inner altar, and our physical altar, or the altar of our life. What is sacred to us? What are we devoted to? So this new moon gives us an opportunity to set intentions around what it is that is sacred to us in life, what we are devoted to, and for that to grow and flourish and bloom and expand in this next year. Vesta is in Virgo. Vesta's in Scorpio at the time of this new moon. Vesta is associated with the signs. She's associated with both Virgo and Scorpio. So Vesta is very powerful in Scorpio at this new moon. And that Scorpio Cancer trine, that water trine, it's so good for spiritual connection, emotional connection, just being in the flow, in the current of life, It can do with financial flow. It can have to do with, just higher vibration emotions like joy and compassion and just love and it's a very sexual transit, that Cancer, new moon and sun trine Scorpio. It can be very sexy. It can be very erotic. It can have to do with very deep, profound sexual connections, very deep, profound emotional connections. Vesta is very spiritual. Again, she's the high priestess. So it can be spiritual, sexual experiences. It can be, magic through sex, sexual healing. All of those kinds of things can be presented by this trine to Vesta. And there's so much more I could say about Vesta. Vesta is such a deep asteroid priestess. But the goddess energy is present. The goddess energy is so present during this new moon because Cancer, Jupiter is like this divine mother goddess who is letting us know that she's taking care of us despite what's going on, despite the wars and the atrocities that are right here, that we cannot look away from. The goddess is also telling us to make our gratitude lists, count our blessings, because I've been saying it again and again, but this Jupiter in Cancer keeps telling me, these are the good old days. Look around, see who's around you, see what you're doing, look at your health, look at just look around, because these are the good old days, believe it or not. So don't miss them with too much anxiety and fear and worry. Do your part, be of service. That Mars and Virgo, that sextile is also telling us to, be of service, give where we can, give how we can. That Cancer new moon conjunct Jupiter. Cancer is already a very generous sign, and then you put it next to Jupiter. This cycle is so much about generosity and so much about giving, and just like, what can we give, to any problem that we're experiencing, from the squares to Saturn and Neptune, and the tests, the challenges, the obstacles, the boundaries, the limitations, the chaos, the confusion, the deception, the illusion, whatever it is for you. It's like, where can we contribute? Where can we be of service? Where can we give? Because that's where the abundance is. That's where the grace is. That's where the joy is. And Jupiter in Cancer is also telling us, as we set intentions, we can set intentions around what we want. You can do that every new moon. You can set intentions around what you want to manifest, or the things you want, or the boyfriend you want, the job you want, the husband you want, the child you want, the money, whatever, the stuff. But this new moon is really inviting us to plant intentions around how we want to feel. Like, Cancer has so much to do with our emotional body, our emotional landscape, our feelings. And a lot of the times when we're focusing on manifesting and what we want to manifest, the things that we want are because we think that they're going to make us feel a certain way. Like, if I have this money, or if I get to this weight, or if I have this person, or this honor in my career, or whatever the things are that we want the things because of how we think those things are going to make us feel. But what if we set intentions around how we want to feel? I want to feel joy. I want to feel valued. I want to feel love. I want to feel security. I want to feel safety. I want to feel confidence. I want to feel whatever it is that we want to feel. if we set intentions around how we want to feel, and that manifests, and we don't worry about what it is that God, that the universe gives us to feel that way, maybe we're going to get more than we could have ever hoped for or imagined. Because sometimes when we plant seeds about what we want, the things we want, we get them. We manifest those things, because manifestation is powerful. When you set intentions, you know, you do it. But sometimes the things that we get don't make us feel the way we thought that they were going to make us feel. And then we're left perplexed. Like, I wanted this so much, and now why do I still, you know? And so maybe we reverse engineer it from the feeling for this Cancer new moon, all about feelings and grace and abundance. And it's like, if we know how we want to feel, then let the universe fill in the blanks of what's going to make us feel that way. Because maybe the universe, maybe God, maybe the higher powers that be know better what's going to make us feel that way than what we think is going to make us feel that way. And on that note, thank you for joining me. Happy new moon of Cancer. This is a great time for a reading. We just had the summer solstice, which tells the story of the entire summer season. I encourage you to watch that video as well. Watch the Saturn and Aries video. Watch the Neptune and Aries video. Watch the Jupiter and Cancer video. Watch the Mars and Virgo video. All of these videos are going to fill in even more details of the energies that are at play this month, this summer. And, you know, astrology works best when you work one-on-one with an astrologer. I would love to read for you. I would love to show you where Mars is moving through your chart in Virgo over the next six weeks, where you really have an opportunity to really organize and streamline and get shit done and be very productive. I want to take you through where Jupiter is traveling through your chart over the next year and show where there's going to be growth and expansion and a lot of good luck and good fortune coming in for you. And I want to show you the opportunity between that Mars house and that Jupiter house, and how you can actually manifest something between those two houses. And I would love to take you through where Saturn and Neptune are conjoining in Aries, and where there's this exciting new start is happening in your life that requires a lot of commitment and discipline and foundational work right now. So it's such a great time to get a reading for so many reasons. I read on Zoom, so I can read for people anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. I would love to read for you. Again, there's a link in the description notes of my YouTube to book a reading with me. And there's, I'm also going to provide links to all the videos that I told you that you should watch. And I'm also going to put a link, if you would like to buy me a coffee or a tea or croissant to thank me for this reading. I'll put a link to my Venmo to give a donation. And I think I said everything. I inevitably leave something out, but just thank you so much for joining me. You could be anywhere in the world and you're right here with me. And I am so appreciative of it, because I love astrology and I love sharing it with others. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a blessed, wonderful new moon of Cancer cycle.